What's going on, traders? Welcome back to my trading view. I hope everybody's doing well and have had a fantastic trading morning. So this morning, I'm just going to go through 3 trading opportunities that we took a look at on our live trading session this morning, and the ones that I executed and the ones that I didn't, and the reasons behind it. Now, this is really a lot to do with thought process here, and something that I really talk about a lot with traders on my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, absolutely everywhere, that the thought process that goes into a trade must be solid. Traders come to the charts in the morning, and the first thing they want to do is jump into the trade. They see that the price is creating a downtrend, and then they see price comes back to a key level. First thing they think in their mind is support and resistance, wick rejections, and now the market's going to go down. But, you really have to accept this, everyone. If trading was that simple, then don't you think everybody will be following along with that? And honestly, if it was that simple, then the success rate would be much higher. But I'm going to go over 3 trades that I called today. 2 of them I executed on. One of them I will talk about in a second. So I was looking at GU for a very long period of time this morning on the live session, and unfortunately it just continuously ranged. So I got really tired of it, and I decided to take my skills elsewhere, as I mainly trade just structure and market behavior. And I was going through the list of pairs that I have here, and I come across pound CAD. Now, when I was looking at pound CAD, I was taking a look at the high time frame analysis, just identifying that price was breaking above these structure levels here. And this was what was really important for me on this trade, because in the back of my mind, if price breaks above a key level, then it's very, very likely that price is going to come back to a target high. And as you can clearly see, this is exactly what has happened here. So I wanted to see price break above this structure, and I wanted to see price create, a close above to indicate that this bullish momentum will continue and obviously be sustainable. So I scaled through my time frames, and the one that I decided to stop at was the 5-minute time frame. And for me, this was the most important decision that needed to be made here. We can see that the market was trending up clearly from a high time frame perspective. We can see that the markets were creating higher highs and higher low formations, and we can also see that price was failing to break above these levels for a period of time. But once this candle broke above, this was a very good sign to me that we could continue this bullish momentum. The hourly candle was already pushing up, and in the back of my mind, there was a lot of reasons to suggest that this hourly candle could continue pushing up. Based on the range of the previous candles to the left, you can clearly see we're looking at an average about of this much. And when we was looking at this period of time, there was a lot of room for that candle to move. And then just comparing it to some of the candles to the left here, you can see that we would have had enough, or at least enough momentum to continue up to get a break-even trade. So with all of that in the back of my mind, I'm talking out loud while I'm on the live session, going through my thought process. This candle closed here. Was it this candle? Yeah, I believe it was this candle here that closed, and then that's when I decided to place my buy stop above this level here. Now, as you can see, price did actually trigger me in and started to move to the downside, and this is the key level that price broke. So I was saying to myself, well, look, if price starts to break close back into this key level, meaning a 5-minute candle close, then I'm going to close this trade. But we waited about 20 seconds and price closed above it, which was a really good sign. After this, what we expect is a bullish continuation. So we had this bullish continuation, and when this candle closed bullish, I was very, very confident that we're going to see the markets get back to some of these highs. I had my break-even trade set in and around these levels here for about a 1-to-1, so around here somewhere. So once this candle closed, I started to see this candle here. I started to see price push down. It created a wick and then started to push up. But I started to see that it was struggling. So once price started to push down, I had to make an informed decision, not an impulsive decision, an informed decision. Should I close this trade and call it a day? Just in case we have this bearish momentum back to the downside, I don't need to lose any money in this trade. I can close it out at break even, and then guess what? I can live to trade another trade. Price did actually, in fact, start turning bearish. It pushed down, and I closed this manually at break even. Now, at the end of the session, or a few 5-10 minutes after, I reviewed this and said, well, this was the original level that I was planning to close if price went past or broke back into. Did I need to close it as early as I did? Or, could I have kept it open and left it running? Well, the truth here is this. If this candle decided that it didn't want to reject the level that it did and then continue down, I would have been holding a trade that I didn't really want to be holding. So based on that note, I think I made the right decision. The next thing is this as well. Could I have just stuck with my original plan and placed my stop loss here and called it a day? That was also another thing I was thinking about. But then after reevaluating, instead of turning around and saying, oh, look at this, I took a trade and I didn't make the right decisions and it went against me, I said to myself, guess what? I saw the previous candle close bullish. I'm expecting the next candle to continue bullish. I don't want to see it turn bearish because I don't know whether this candle is ever going to reject and go back to bullish. Based on that information, I think I made the right decision to close this trade. And as you can clearly see, upon closing it, the markets did continue up, hit my break-even trade, and then eventually to take profit. But that is just what it is, and that's part of trading. I'll always say risk before reward. And, once you focus on that trade, as I can promise you, you're going to start to see the money flooding in. But it was great to see the analysis played out. Great to see that we hit these target highs here that we marked out on the hourly time frame. And yes, this was the first trade that I took. Second trade that I looked at was on USD/JPY. Now, I was looking at this trade on the 1 minute time frame, and what I identified here was a really strong push to the upside. As you can see, a massive impulsive move. In the back of my mind, based on experience in the markets, I know that the markets will more than likely retrace 50% of this candle just as a correction before then deciding which directional bias it wants to go. So with that thought process in mind, because remember, this lesson is all about thought process, I said to myself, well, guess what? The markets are starting to push the upside, but what we're seeing here is signs of price failing to make new higher highs. The next thing that I want to see on this is a higher low formation to then expect price to make a new higher high. So I'm expecting the market to make a new high, higher low, and then continue up. But as you can clearly see, the market never done that. So then what I said to myself next is if the market breaks this structure, which it did, eventually it should pull back to make a retest of the previous structure. And if given the evidence, I'm looking for a wick rejection to then take this trade. Price then started creating indecisions, which is a really good sign. I wanted to see price come deep into this level, which it did. And then I wanted to see an indecision. But for some reason, I wasn't confident in taking this trade, even though I planned it to the T. And what I said was once this candle closes an indecision, I just want to see one more wick or one more indecision. Now, for some of you, you may have taken this trade with a sell stop, which would have been completely fine. You would have enough range to set the sell stop. You may have taken it with an instant execution. It really doesn't matter. But for me, when I plan my trade, I want to make sure that my trade plays out according to my plan. This did, but it didn't because I needed one more indecision to take this trade. As you can clearly see here, had a very safe stop loss above the structure with 2 pips, and obviously it hit target. That again is just what it is. But the thought process behind this was if the market is creating this impulsive move to the upside, we'll have this correction back to around 50%. We're failing to break these highs. We're showing signs of bearish momentum. We're creating a higher, lower, low, lower, high formation. That's why we have this brick wall in place to expect price to respect these levels and then continue down. And I guess that's exactly what happened. But we didn't manage to get into this trade, which is completely fine. It is life. We move on. And then I carried on my thought process. Now, just to let you know, I was sitting on the live session for 2 hours and 15 minutes before I finally got myself into a winning trade. And this was it on pound USD. So I'm going to remove the previous data because that's not really necessary. And if you want to see this trade that was taken live, go check out my Instagram. I've posted the video there and you'll see how it played out and how I planned it. So originally, as I said, we've been sitting on this live session since around 7:30 in the morning. We're marking our levels here. This is not relevant. We're marking our levels here. And what we're looking for the market to do is just create structure we can trade. Now, the best opportunity this morning for me would have been to take this trade here where price broke this previous structure, indicated it was failing to break above, strong momentum, indecisions, and then placed my trade below this structure. But unfortunately, I wasn't on the live session this morning at the time that I was supposed to be on it because my son hasn't been too well. So I came on a little bit late, but this would have been the best opportunity and definitely one we would have taken. Considering the entry on this, probably would have been a break-even trade or may have closed out, not sure, but whatever the case, this would have been the best entry based on the patterns from this morning. Then I had to sit waiting for, I think, 2 hours and 15 minutes before I decided to get into my next trade. Now, what happened over here is because I was looking to take that sell on UJ, I identified that the dollar was weakening at this moment in time, and more of the momentum was pushing towards the opposing currencies, which on USD JPY was JPY, as you saw with this sell over here. This one here, and then on pound USD, I was looking for that continuation to the upside, so putting my money on pound as opposed to the dollar. So the market was ranging. I saw that the price was making these lower low, lower high formations, but failed to break this structure. And this was a key level that I was looking at. Look at the strong momentum and the strong break above. And in my opinion, this was a really, really good sign that the bears were in control. The yen was taking over on the other currency pair, the trade that I didn't take. And I saw that price broke above. I said, I'm waiting for this indecision. Once I get this indecision, then I'm going to look to take the trade. Now, because we're trading the 1 minute time frame, it may seem like there's not enough time to place your trades, but I'm telling you, 60 seconds is a very long time, plus another 60 seconds, wait for a candle break, and then another 10, 15 seconds to set this as well, depending, how quick you are. But I use a trading panel that does all the work for me, so it's very easy on the 1 minute time frame. And we waited for this candle to close, set my buy stop above this level, and as you can clearly see, I was in this trade, I think, for less than a minute. And yeah, we hit take profits on this. So really, really good. Plus 3R4 today. I think that will be it for me. It's been a fantastic week, and I'm sure you've all seen some of the trades that I have called. Hopefully you was able to take advantage of GJ yesterday with that really big 61 pip move. Beautiful, beautiful trade. And all I'm doing here is just using my market structure knowledge, understanding behavior. It doesn't matter what time frame, what pair, using confluent, 2 time frames for confluence, 3 time frames, 1 time frame. It really doesn't matter. But the thought process is near enough all the same. And if you master this, you take your time, you back test, you appreciate, and you love what you do, I can promise you that you'll be able to do the same down the line. But that is all for now. I just wanted to share this with you. I hope this was educational, and I think this may be my last video for this week. We will see how the markets play out tomorrow, but if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you're really enjoying the content, then just help me grow my followers and sort that reputation out for me. Anyway, family, continue to have a fantastic trading day, and as always, trust the process.